Hello, welcome back to another pregnancy update video. I am officially in my third trimester, so I thought I would do a second trimester recap, kind of go over the last 8 weeks of the second trimester. If you've been keeping up, then you would have already seen my 20-week update. I did that with my last pregnancy where I did kind of like a middle of the pregnancy update, and I thought it worked well. I'm going to go into kind of some updates that have happened since then, go over my 28-week appointment, go over symptoms, all that good stuff, and kind of share how I'm feeling going into the last trimester. I thought it'd be fun to film in front of the Christmas tree since we have that up and we're getting to that time of year. Might as well enjoy it while the decorations are up. I am filming in the living room. Obviously that's where the tree is, and we do have kind of high ceilings, so hopefully it's not too echoey. I do have a mic, but sometimes it doesn't pick up the best in here, so I just wanted to enjoy some of the beautiful sunshine that we have and the Christmas tree, even though we do have we have quite a bit of snow already here in Minnesota. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go through the symptoms that I had for the last 8 weeks, and then I'll kind of go into my 28-week appointment. It was kind of a disappointing appointment again. If you have not been keeping up, my 20-week appointment had a few things presented, and I'll go ahead and I'll talk about those and like updates from that in this video, but my 20-week appointment did not go as planned again, so I'll talk about that at the end. We'll do the symptoms first. There's not that many. It's honestly been a pretty boring couple of weeks, which is good. No news is good news in my opinion, but I will kind of share what I have written down on my phone. So I left off at 20 weeks in my last video, so I'm going to go through and kind of recap 20 weeks again. So I had my 20-week appointment, and I had my placenta too close to my cervix at that time. I went to the appointment and it was like 1 centimeter away, and they like it to be at least 2 centimeters away. We found out baby was a boy, and those were the biggest things that I had noted at 20 weeks. Oh, it said at 20 weeks I had gained just under 10 pounds. Wow, I didn't even know I put that in there. I have gained a lot more than that. I stopped weighing myself at 15 pounds, like when I had gained 15 pounds, because I just like, I don't want to bother myself with that, but apparently at 20 weeks I had only gained like under 10 pounds. At 21 weeks, my husband could feel baby kicking on the outside, so with my placenta where it was located, it is very low, and so I wasn't feeling a lot of movement before 20 weeks, but I started to feel a little bit more over the past several weeks, and at 21 weeks I noted that my husband could feel baby kicking from the outside. I had a lot of bleeding from my gums when I would brush my teeth. That has continued. I went to the dentist actually a couple weeks ago, and they weren't really concerned with it. They just told me to keep brushing and flossing. I had that with my first pregnancy as well, so I'm not really surprised or worried about that. I noticed that I have a lot of peach fuzz on my stomach. Like, I just have extra hair, like, growing. That's pretty normal during pregnancy. You retain a lot of your hair, like it doesn't fall out, which is why you have a lot of postpartum hair loss, but I noticed that I have a lot of like peach fuzz growing on my stomach, which I can't recall if I noticed the last time, but the only reason I noticed that is because I put like belly butter and oil on my stomach, which I will be sharing like a pregnancy favorites video in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when that's going to go up, but I am going to do that, and I'll talk all about those products that I'm using. The sun is coming out even more, so the lighting is kind of getting wild. Okay, at 22 weeks, I noticed Braxton Hicks. I've been having a lot of Braxton Hicks, and I don't know if that's because I just am having more this pregnancy, or I recognize them a little bit more. Like, I've gone through this, so I'm, you know, an experienced mom at this point, which I can't believe I would say out loud because I don't feel like an experienced mom, but I noticed that I've been having quite a lot of them. I told the doctor yesterday. She said that a lot of the times they'll subside around 32 weeks, so they don't bother me. I just noticed that I'm having a lot of them. My skin has been very itchy. I noticed that at 22 weeks, and not just my belly, it was like all over itchiness. I had that with my first pregnancy, so I wasn't really surprised by that. At 23 weeks, I noted that food started to sound bad. And I don't even know if it's like an aversion or like what it is, because I'm still able to eat. It's not like I'm nauseous or it's making me sick or like I can't be around it. Food just doesn't sound good. Like, I go to like make dinner and I just like don't want any of the food that we have in our house, and then I'll be like, maybe I'll just order out, and then I'll look at a restaurant's menu and nothing sounds good. So I actually had that today when I went to go make lunch. I'm still eating, just doesn't sound very good. At 24 weeks, I put a note that my workouts were going a lot slower. I have slowed down. I have done a lot more modifications at this point, especially now going into my third trimester, just trying to be really careful and also think about putting, you know, baby down into the birth canal, opening up my hips. But I noted that that was when they got a lot slower. I had a weird heat rash also at that point, or some type of irritation. I had a rash all over my arms and my legs. It was really strange. It went away. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I remember that. They were very itchy. It was almost like I had mosquito bites, but there were no mosquitoes out at that time, so that's not what it was. At 25 weeks, I noted that I started waking up early between 3:30 and 4 a.m. So I get up at 4:45 almost every morning because I work out in the morning. I work out at 5. So getting up early is not abnormal for me. I've been getting up at 4 a.m. basically since Rhea was born, because that's what schedule I was on for pumping and then working out. But I do remember when I was pregnant with Rhea that I started waking up early, like an hour earlier than my normal wake up time, just naturally. Like that just started happening, and that also happened again. Not a big deal. I am a little bit more tired, but I'm still able to get through the day. I still feel like I'm getting like good sleep though. That's what I noted, is that I'm getting up early but still getting good sleep compared to my first pregnancy. I did not get good sleep during my first pregnancy. I did not get a pregnancy pillow. This time around I had one at 8 weeks, and it's a game changer. You absolutely need a pregnancy pillow if you're struggling to get sleep through your pregnancy, because I sleep, and I sleep hard most nights. Like I'm still getting adequate sleep to be able to function, and I did not have that the first time around. And that's the last note that I have, is from 25 weeks. I didn't put anything specific after that. Like I said, it's been kind of a boring couple of weeks. I do have a few notes that I want to kind of talk about. I'm not gonna go more into this after baby, I think, because I just don't want to get into it right now. But I did put a few notes down that I want to talk about, just in terms of like things that have been happening around me, like reactions from people and how I've been feeling overall. So after I went to my 20-week appointment, people started asking, you know, about my birth preferences and where I'm going and all of that kind of stuff. And naturally, I've just been talking about my whole goal and having a VBAC and my wishes and my experience in pregnancy. And if you don't know, I really want a VBAC. I had a C-section with my first because she was a breech, and I wanted to have a VBAC. I really want a VBAC. I'm really focused on it. I've hired a doula. It's all I am focused on. I mean, not all, but like that is my main thing that I'm going into this with. And I really don't want another C-section. I am absolutely terrified of having another C-section, because I am fearful that if I have another C-section, I will not want to do this again, which brings me to my point of a lot of discouragement and dismissive comments from people. People have been not encouraging of me having a VBAC. They've been a little judgmental. I have had a lot of people tell me I'm selfish for wanting a VBAC, and also selfish for saying that if I have another C-section, I don't want to do it again. And I can't believe that that's how people have been acting. It really was bringing me down. Like I had to just stop telling people what was going on. I stopped telling them about my placenta. I stopped sharing how I was actually feeling, which I've been feeling very down. I was between like 22 weeks and 26 weeks. I was depressed and I was not happy, and it was probably like the hardest couple of weeks of my life. And I had to just stop telling people how I was truly feeling, because I was not getting any encouragement or any like words of affirmation. It just was like I would hear things and they would continue to bring me down. So that's been kind of disappointing. I don't understand why that is. I don't know if that's just because of people's personal experiences. They wanted to share their thoughts with me, or like try and discourage me from trying to have a VBAC. I'm not sure. I really didn't take the time to understand, and that could be a fault on my part. But from where I sit, I just need support, and I just felt like I wasn't getting it. So I've been just kind of holding things in, which is not good. You should not do that. I wanted to note that I'm going to talk more about that in the future. I'm not going to get too into it. I did note here that I cannot feel baby boy as much as with Rhea, and that has been consistent. And at first I thought it was my placenta, but I think it's just him. Like, I think this is just a more chill baby. Like, he's just not moving as much as Rhea did. And that's okay. Like, I'm not upset about that or anything. I just noticed it. Like, he's sitting totally different than her. I can tell he's just a little bit more quiet in there than she was. She was rambunctious. She was all over the place, or at least trying to be all over the place. The last note I have on here, I put down here a lot of discouragement and dismissive comments from people regarding my wishes for a VBAC. And then I put down emotionally feeling very sad, upset, struggling mentally, struggling more through this pregnancy than with my first, which I kind of couldn't believe, because I didn't think it could get any worse, but I definitely have been struggling more this pregnancy than with my first. Not to end on a low note, but that's just kind of where I'm at. That's how the past couple of weeks have gone. Let's talk about my 28-week appointment. So I went in and did my appointment. So during that time, you do your gestational diabetes test. They did Tdap, which I get. They did a syphilis test, which I guess is standard to do. I remember that for my first as well. They test your blood type as well. So did all of those, plus I had an ultrasound plus a regular doctor's appointment. It was a lot of stuff going on. So I went into that doctor's appointment with my fingers crossed that my placenta had migrated and that baby was looking good. I can't remember if I put in the last video that his kidneys were different sizes when we were at the 20-week appointment, and so those were like the two things that they were checking on. So baby is looking great. Kidneys are just fine. They're the same size, totally within normal range. And my placenta did move. It migrated. It's 3 centimeters away. I'm totally in the clear to have a vaginal delivery. Everything else looked good. Growth looked good. I get another ultrasound at 32 weeks because I had COVID during my pregnancy. So they do that for growth of baby, but growth has been in the same percentile my entire pregnancy. So I am not concerned about that at all. The ultrasound technician and I and the doctor, we were all so excited coming out of that ultrasound and going into the appointment. And then the doctor and I started reading through the text notes in more detail, and the doctor noted, or the tech noted and was reading, that they noticed a lot of blood vessels behind my placenta. Now your placenta has a ton of blood vessels in it regardless of where it is, but because of where it's placed, it's on my lower left stomach. There is a condition called placenta accretia, in which your placenta can grow into your uterine wall, and in this case the C-section scar. And when this happens, it's an automatic C-section and hysterectomy. And I couldn't believe that she said that, because I just did not think that, again, of all the things that could happen, I was concerned about having like gestational diabetes or high blood pressure or baby being breech again. Like, those were my biggest concerns, and those were the things that I have been focused on because I can't be induced because of my previous C-section at my practice. So those were my things that I've been focusing on. This was something I've never heard of before, never knew it was a thing, never was told it was a risk with having a C-section and subsequent pregnancy. Absolutely no idea. So when she said that and she referred me to the perinatal group for high-risk pregnancies to have another ultrasound to check into it, I couldn't believe it. I definitely cried a lot after the appointment with my husband, because that does make it I would no longer be able to have kids. Like, that is the end if I have to have a hysterectomy. And I'm also way too young to have a hysterectomy. Even if I choose to not have more kids, like if that's my decision and that's the route we go, I still don't want to lose my uterus. That's not something that I'm interested in doing at this point in my life. So that's really unfortunate. I'm really upset about it. I emailed the doula and I explained the situation to her. And like, what does this mean? Because I've already paid her. I've already contracted with her. I haven't even met with her yet because I was waiting for this 28-week appointment to figure out what my placenta was going to do. And now I can't even move forward. I still can't move forward with doing a birth plan with her because I don't know what I'm going to have to do. So that's how the appointment went. I'm really upset about it. I know I shouldn't say that. I know I should be happy that I'm healthy and baby's healthy. I passed my gestational diabetes test. It went fine. I did the fresh test. You can buy that online. And everything looks good. All my blood work came back as good. Everything is totally fine. This is just like a really big deal, I feel like, that I had no idea was even something I should be concerned about. I've never heard about, and now I have to wait even longer to figure out what I'm gonna do. So I have to wait and hear from the perinatal group. They're gonna schedule me for an appointment hopefully in the next couple of weeks. the holidays. I'm sure it's going to be harder to get in, but because of this, I am not going to be moving practices or doctors. I had wanted to, and I was going to. Like, if my placenta migrated away from my cervix and everything looked good, I was going to move providers, but now I can't. Like, by the time I find out what's going on and get hopefully cleared, like hopefully this is just like a fluke, like hopefully they look at it and there's nothing serious going on, I'm probably gonna be like 32 weeks and maybe even beyond that, and I just don't feel like I want to move doctors that late in the game. So that's where I'm at. I will keep you updated, probably in vlogs rather than pregnancy update videos, so make sure you're subscribed and watch the vlogs as they come out, because I'll probably keep you updated on there and on my Instagram. So that's it for this update. I will probably do a 36-week or 37-week pregnancy update and kind of do like a third trimester recap. That's what I did with my first, and then I'll do like a birth video after that. Depending on how everything goes. That's kind of my plan. If anything else comes up that's like major, like a big update, I might do another sit down video, but I just don't think I will. I think I'm just going to do it all in like a 36-week update. So stay tuned for that in a very short amount of time. It's coming up pretty quickly here. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a really good day and a good week when you see this, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.